Welcome to Action Hour. Today we're going to talk about steer tailing. And if you don't know what that is, we're going to tell you in a moment. But there is growing opposition to what advocates say is extremely cruel and also illegal. Today I have Jody Whitaker with me. She is representing Shark. Jody, happy to have you here today. Tell us right off the bat, I want you to get into it. What is steer tailing?
So it's an event that happens probably around the country, but we are working on it here in Illinois. It's where steers are in chutes and they are basically tormented inside the chute. They are shocked with electricity, kicked and punched in the face. They are basically terrorized so that when that chute opens, they come running out fast. Then a man on horseback chases the steer, grabs the steer violently by their tail, wraps the tail around their own leg, and body slams the animal to the ground. In doing this, many animals become lame. They can break a leg, a limb, a neck, spine, horn, and then many times they are degloved, which means their tail is basically ripped off their body because they are wearing sharp spurs that rip the animal's tail. So it's a horrific event.
Yes, I want to show two very, very short clips with a warning to everyone that this is extremely disturbing. So if you have issues with seeing things like this, just look away for a moment, okay? Thank you. Now, when we see the animal shake its head, Jody, to me, that means that's in, I know I see my dog when it gets hurt, it'll shake its head. And we see it do that. The other thing that people don't realize is it happens over and over and over to this animal. So if you have an injury, that injury is being aggravated over and over. Can you address that for us, please?
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up because when an animal or a steer shakes their head, that means they have a head injury. And just this last weekend on Saturday, the first steer tailing event in Boone County took place, and there were multiple injuries of animals, and at least one with a head injury. The animal kept shaking his head, and yet he was run again. So they have a who knows what. I mean, their head is hurt, their horn is broken, and they're being run again. And some of these steers are run 20 plus times. We have witnessed in these counties, and that means, imagine it this way: you're a boxer and you're in the ring, and you get knocked down. Well, you get up and you might be a little sore, but you go back to it, and then you get knocked down again. Every time you get knocked down, you're hurt a little more. These animals are run sometimes, like I said, 20 plus times. So they are hurt. They get up, they're limping, they become lame. And like I said, they break legs, they break their necks, they get their spines broken, and then they don't receive veterinary care. All of this violates Illinois' Humane Care for Animals Act.
Right. And so now the next thing I want to talk about is there has been action taken in January to bring another phase to this law that is in effect that will specifically say no steer tailing, period. And so what is the state of that law at the moment?
Senator Rachel Ventura Sure. Senator Rachel Ventura introduced SB 45, which is a bill that would basically ban intentionally dragging or pulling a bovine by its tail. It's really quite crazy that we need a bill in 2025 that prohibits pulling an animal's tail. But because Illinois' law that's on the books, which is one of the most humane laws around the country, is not being enforced, we need this measure. Unfortunately, it is stalled in the committee this year, but we are continuing to work on getting co-sponsors between now and next January so that we can show Illinois leadership that there is enough support for this humane and common sense measure to get it passed.
So, if without getting into too deep into the weeds on it, what is the opposition or the pushback um, that's out there?
Uh, I really don't know. What's sad to me is that if you want anyone who watches this, if they have a heart, they're going to see the immense cruelty. So, um, I'm not sure what the opposition is. One thing we have to do is continually educate our lawmakers, because I believe a lot of them are not aware that this is going on. It's not an organized event. Each steer tailing event has to get a permit to put it on. So I think the majority of Illinoisans are not aware of these events or the immense suffering they cause.
Okay, so now I guess the question comes up, what can the public do? What action would you like people to take?
Well, we would love it if you join Shark online on Facebook and Instagram and help with our easy actions. We put out daily easy actions where we ask you to make a 1-minute phone call or send a 1-minute email or Facebook message. You don't need to know much about the issue. We give you the wording, just simply like urge a senator to co-sponsor the SB 45, or urge the boards of Boone or Ogle County to deny the steer tailing permit to the various locations where these go on. They're very easy actions. And if you're an Illinois resident, please contact your Illinois state senator and urge them to co-sponsor SB 45. And they can always contact me at Shark through our Facebook page or through Chicago Alliance for Animals, and I'd be happy to explain it all to you.
Great. And we're going to talk about Chicago Alliance for Animals in a few minutes, but I want to go back to the cruelty. Electric prods. Now you have, Shark has footage, and we've seen some footage about why they're using these prods. And actually, in other rodeos that I've reported on, I understand when these tools are taken away, it's almost impossible for the rodeo event to happen. So my question to you is, has there been any legislation to, rather than ban events, to ban the use of certain tools in those events? And I guess a dual question, in this event that it's a local event, how would that be enforced?
Well, Shark would definitely be out there watching for if we were to pass a law like that, which we are definitely looking into, because Pittsburgh passed a law years ago, I think 30 plus years ago now, that bans the tools of torture in rodeos, such as electric prods, sharp spurs, flank straps. Without those tools of torture, rodeos really wouldn't exist, because if you think about it, steers, bulls, calves, horses are domesticated animals. So they have to use these tools of torture to get them to perform, to get them to come running out of the chutes, to get them to buck. So we are all in on any of those sort of legislative initiatives. And I have a colleague who runs the Christian Animal Rights Association, who is working on those measures in San Diego and Los Angeles.
You can mention, if you want to, who that is.
Yeah, Matthew King of the Christian Animal Rights Association.
Well, wonderful. I wanted to show again, I just showed the notification. This is very graphic. We have horses, actually. It's not just steer, it's horses. And you can talk about how many different animals, but let's watch this clip. I'm cautioning people if you're sensitive. It's very short. horrible. And what are these people thinking, and how do they get away? I mean, people that go and watch this, what are they thinking, and why aren't they reporting this, do you think? And is
Well,
there a lot of outcry? I mean, what's happening when people see this?
showing animals respect and kindness has been documenting this violence for 3 years. And I need to make it clear that all of this violates Illinois law. So in the Illinois Humane Care for Animals Act prohibits beating, abusing, cruelly treating, tormenting animals and denying veterinary care. And we have witnessed this for 3 years, and absolutely no officials will stop it. And what you just witnessed there, horses being beaten, whipped on their head, kicked violently in their sides with sharp spurs, that is all illegal. Illinois law is very clear. We don't understand why nobody will do anything. And the evidence is it's horrific to watch. And if the horses are not doing what the rider wants them to do, then they are abused. And so steers are abused. We have hundreds of hours of footage with animals with broken legs, limping, being forced to run or walk on a broken limb, and then being forced to go into a transport trailer for a bumpy ride back to Iowa, where the animals come, where they're rented from. So everything about this event is horrifically cruel, and there is absolutely no way to put on steer tailing events without breaking Illinois law.
Wow. I'm just overcome by this whole thing. And it just seems like we have to get the word out. What can people that are on social media do? I mean, how can they help? Is there footage they can show? How can they get the word out? If they don't live in Illinois, and you just mentioned if they live in Illinois, they can write to their Congress people, etc. But if they don't, what can they do to help?
Anybody can do our actions. And we urge everybody, it doesn't matter if you live in Illinois or you live in Alaska, or even another country, you can take action on our actions. Don't ever think that you can't take action because you don't live in the area. It's about pressure, keeping that pressure on Illinois officials to enforce the existing law, and then putting pressure on our legislators to pass SB 45 and a House version of it. So the best way you can help is by joining Shark on both Facebook and Instagram. Even if you don't like social media, it is really one of the best tools we have to advance animal protection and legislation for animals. So I urge you to join these social media pages and help with our easy actions. All it takes is one call or one email or one Facebook message saying, enforce Illinois law or ban steer tailing in Illinois. It's simple as that.
Yeah, and we can provide where you can check. I'll put that into the links. You can check and keep up to date on that. So who in the government do you think, I see here there's someone stonewalling, a political leader. There's this article here, Carla Maville. So can you talk about this a little bit?
Sure. Carla Mayville is the assistant state's attorney in Boone County. Boone County is the worst of the worst. They just had the first one this last Saturday, and multiple animals were injured and harmed and run again. And Mayville has actually stated that these steer tailing permits are discretionary, that the county does not have to give out these steer tailing events, steer tailing permits. Yet they continue to do so despite all of the crimes that we show the board, that we show the sheriff, that we show law enforcement, that we show the state's attorney's office. And she has directed the sheriff's office to not shut down these events once they become illegal. Actually, you run one steer and you've already broken the law, because grabbing a steer violently by their tail and slamming them to the ground constitutes abuse, cruel treatment, torment. So you cannot have this event without the suffering. And it's all coming down from Mayville and State's Attorney Tricia Smith in Boone County. And we have all their information on our social media pages.
So again, we just want to keep reminding people to join Shark in their efforts. Go to the page. Here we go. Put that up. And go to that page and take the action, and also get on the list, because I know I get those. I get it through Facebook, also from you through Facebook. You send out notifications, and it's a very quick action to take. It literally takes seconds. It's like 2 clicks. You sign your name and you're done. And it's like, it takes
go to Facebook. Facebook and Instagram are where we post our actions. The website has a wealth of information too. And our YouTube channel, Shark Online's YouTube channel, is very, you can find a ton of videos and footage there on our actions on social media. We post videos, we post recent videos of crimes against animals that you can share. But again, you can click on the target, whether it's Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, Attorney General Kwame Raoul, who won't do anything. He's Illinois' chief legal officer. He will not stop it. And you click on their Facebook page and send them a Facebook message. Stop animal cruelty and steer tailing. It's simple.
Absolutely. We're getting some comments here from people. Bonnie, Eileen Abalanda is commenting. And I know she's an activist that goes out to a lot of horse racing events and other abuse of horses and other animals. And it's really, people need to know, it's not only steers, it's horses. What other animals are involved? Similar to dog fighting. That's another good comment.
Well, steer tailing, mainly it's horses. The men ride the horses and they chase the steers. So in steer tailing, it's mainly the steers and horses. And again, it's illegal. It's steer tailing itself is not illegal, but everything that happens at steer tailing events is illegal. And I need to add that it's not just the animal abuse, the criminal animal abuse that is happening, but in Boone County, for example, they are required by the permit to wear identification bibs. Just like in baseball or basketball or football, they wear a number on their back. And in this case, it's mainly meant to show who is abusing their horse or who broke the tail of that steer. Well, most of the time they don't wear them, or they wear them on their leg or their arm. They have to wear them on their back. So they're easily identified. Just this last Saturday, and any person handling an animal, so whether it's the contestants riding the horses or anyone getting the steers out of the transport trailer in the chute, they must be wearing an identification bib. They don't. And so they violate that aspect of the permit. They also have told lies on their applications about veterinarians who were supposed to be the on-site veterinarian, who had no intention when we reached out to the veterinarian of being there. They have also had a veterinarian who was not licensed in the state of Illinois. All of these things are illegal. Everything about these events are illegal, but absolutely nobody, no officials, nobody in our legislature or state will stop the suffering.
And that's incredible, because here what we see right in front of us is this bill. And apparently there is quite a public interest in it, as well as politicians that are trying to get this pushed through. You mentioned them earlier. So we want to stay away from a certain naming of things, but we just want to talk about steer tailing, which is a crazy thing. See, I thought they were doing it to horses as well. I guess I didn't research enough. This is
horses they ride the horses.
We ride the horses and beat them in order to comply. Yeah,
and if the horse doesn't turn the way they want the horse to turn, or if the horse isn't doing exactly what the rider wants, oftentimes they're beaten. They're, as you can see, and that video you showed, we have hundreds more just like it. It happens at every event. Horses are harmed. They're beaten. They are literally kicked, and they're kicked very hard in their sides with sharp spurs. And then they are reined very hard, and they've got a bit in their mouth. So they're reined. So the entire the entire event is so exploitative and inhumane. Inhumane is way too
I,
it's much
yeah.
worse.
I do need to invite the individuals that conduct those events on to give their side of the story. I also have read in the press that they've commented saying that since last year, the prods have been removed from use, and that this is what they're saying, and that it's been less injuries. So, what do you say to that, and what do you have to back that up?
Well, the statement that the prods are not being used is a lie. It's a blatant lie. They are being used. When the police show up, like they did this last Saturday, because we were on the phone with them nonstop, urging them to attend, then guess what? Then the men put on their bibs. Then they don't, the electric prods disappear. The kicking and the punching of the horses and the steers stop. But when the police are not there, it goes on. And
And you have
again,
footage. Shark
we
has
have
footage.
tons of footage. And
People can go to the website and see the footage.
yep,
Sorry.
and our YouTube channel. And as we speak, my colleagues, the field team are sifting through hundreds of hours of, I shouldn't say hundreds of hours, but hours of footage from this last Saturday. We have hundreds of hours from the last 3 years, but they're sifting through Saturday's footage. And they will let us know about all the injuries. We know multiple animals were injured on Saturday. Multiple injured animals were run again, and at least 4 citations were issued for animal cruelty. And that's because the sheriff's office actually went out and did their job. But
Wonderful.
oftentimes they don't.
Well, how many events do they have upcoming now? Are there more coming?
Yep, it happens almost every weekend from now until October.
Every weekend.
And it's
Are
not
the
just
same horses run every? I mean, are the same horses used, the same steer used? If they still have their tail, are they still used?
Well, if they have their tail, that's a good point. And for anyone who's listening, that is because if their tail is ripped off, it's called degloving, then they can't really use them again because the men cannot grab their tail. So there are various counties that put on these events, mainly in Boone and Ogle, but they do occasionally happen in other counties, McHenry, Will, DeKalb County. The difference is in DeKalb County last year, the sheriff saw our footage and he was absolutely disturbed by it. And so he actually charged the location where it happened because they were not willing to work with him and identified those who abused the animals. So I'm not 100% sure if the horses and some of the horses and steers might be used at other counties, but it's a good bet they are, because many of these contestants and attendees go to multiple events.
Yeah, and I would have supposed that after their tails are gone and they're no longer useful, they go to the slaughterhouse.
Yep. Once they are abused all day from morning until night, they are trucked back to Iowa to the company that they were rented from, and then they are probably slaughtered shortly after. So the entire lives of these animals is torment from birth till death.
And we want to add that those cows are very much like our dogs and cats and our pets. They have all of the same feelings and sentience, and in some cases you can argue intelligence. Not that that should be the meter for humanity, for treating them humanely. This is such a horrific practice, and it needs to be stopped. And we want everybody to help you and Shark. Are other states and countries banning this? Can you do you have any information about that?
To my knowledge, I believe Nebraska has banned steer tailing. I don't know of any others. Again, it violates Illinois law. Illinois law basically prohibits steer tailing, but nobody will enforce the law. So I would love to give out a phone number to Don Harmon. He's the Senate president of Illinois, and urge him to support SB 45 and work. Since he is the Senate president, he has a lot of power. So he should work with his colleagues to make sure that this bill passes next year, it advances. And his number is 217-782-8176. And people can email him at info@donharmon.org. So info@donharmon.org, and urge him to do what he can to stop this violence and pass SB 45.
And when we're done with this broadcast, I will add that number to and link that up above for anybody. And when we get edited, we'll put that in there as well to make sure as many people can do that. But they can go to the Shark website, and all of that information to who to contact is also available there. Is that correct?
Most of it's on social media. I would urge people to go to Facebook and Instagram and look at our daily actions. The website has a lot of information, but we can't update that every day with new actions like we do on social media.
So just join your social media. Just follow you on social media, Instagram, yep. Facebook. Are you on TikTok?
We are on TikTok. Unfortunately, on TikTok, we have posted a couple of videos that have gotten thousands and thousands of views. But unfortunately, TikTok does not like gratuitous violence. And that's right. What steer tailing is. So unfortunately, we can't really post. We have tried posting some steer tailing videos, and they get taken down because TikTok doesn't allow that. So, right. and I mean, that just proves right there. If it's so violent that TikTok won't allow it to stay up, it shouldn't be happening. And in fact, I posted a Facebook action last week, and Facebook covered the video, and it was a video of horses being beaten, and Facebook covered it because they considered it sensitive content. So again, if social media is covering videos, that means it's very violent and it's hard to watch.
Exactly. Yeah, they wouldn't be censoring it, that's what they have to do so that the public, I mean, we do that here. Before we got started, I had to warn everyone because it is extremely disturbing to look at. Is there anything else? We do want to mention that you are the founder of Chicago Alliance for Animals, and that you're working with sharks. So give us a little bit before we go on. I'll give you a little time at the end to mention anything we haven't covered. But tell us a little bit of how you started working with Shark and about your organization that you founded and you are the CEO of.
Yep.
Nonprofit.
Chicago Alliance for Animals formed in 2015. So we're actually going on our 10th anniversary in next month in May. So we formed back then, and our first our first campaign goal was to ban horse carriages, which we did in in April of 2020. So we're also on our 5-year anniversary of banning horse carriages in the 3rd largest city in the United States, which is a huge, proud moment for me. But we also have gotten the puppy mill stores shut down. We have gotten multiple pony ride and camel ride events that have taken place at festivals in the city. We've shut those down. So we have some important successes under our belt. And I'm so happy to be working for Shark because the violence that happens, what we're working on, needs to end. And I'm happy to be part of this team. And Shark is also working on cockfighting. We're going out to other states and exposing cockfighting pits. So since we're on that topic, I would love to give out Shark's cockfighting tip line. So if you know anything about illegal cockfighting, it's illegal in all 50 states. Please call Shark's tip line 630-385-0244 or email tips, TIPS, at shark, SHARK online, ONLINE.org, and let us know. So there's tons of, as you know, work to be done on so many issues. there's not enough time in the day to do it.
Well, we're sorry that Steve couldn't join us. We would have loved to have him on. He has such a robust voice, and he has such a passion for what he does. And I remember watching one of the videos on YouTube. You can really watch a lot of shark videos that will pull you in more so than any TV show I've seen, like Action TV. But this is real, unfortunately. Some of it's extremely cruel. But he was getting chased by cockfighters that discovered him undercover, and they were trying to run his car down an embankment to make it turn over and, kill him. And somehow he had the camera going.
What you're talking about just proves how violent these campaigns are, what we're working against. When, as you know, I'm sure, Lindsey, when there's violence toward animals, there's always a link to violence toward other humans. Even the FBI has documented this link between cruelty to animals and violence toward humans, and we've shown it with steer tailers. And cockfighting. There's usually other very unsavory activities going on, such as illegal drugs, domestic violence, drunk driving. So, this is not just.
It's criminal activity. And you're absolutely right. Whether it's dog meat trade is all entrenched in gangs and in Asia. So it is all part of that underworld. And you are also incredibly brave to go in the trenches there, because these people aren't messing around. I mean, some of the
horse carriages. We got lots of threats when we worked on the horse carriage campaign, because we documented the horses being overworked and all the violations, which was every time they were out, there were violations. So anytime, and that's one of Shark's, what I think sets Shark a bit apart from some organizations, is they are documenting the cruelty, which really helps. You have to show what's happening. You can't just explain it to people. You'll never get the same, hit to the face
reaction. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, this is really great to have you on, and we really want everybody to get behind this AB 45, adding this to the already existing law to include and say absolutely no bovine tailing, which is hideous and horrible and extremely cruel and disgusting, and we need to stop it. But to join you in your efforts, is there anything we didn't cover that you feel is important for us to finish up with here?
I think I'd just like to say everything about steer tailing is illegal. It violates Illinois' Humane Care for Animals Act. So if you can help us in any way, if you're not on social media, you can always reach out to me, and I can give you phone numbers, and we can add you to the email list when we put out email actions. But when talking with legislators, whether it's senators, the attorney general, the governor, Governor Pritzker, urging them to enforce Illinois' existing law, which prohibits beating, abusing, cruelly treating, tormenting, or denying veterinary care to animals. So everything about this is wrong, and we really need everybody's help. And just a reminder, all of your complaints on social media, I'm not pointing anybody out, but we really need the actual calls to be made, the emails to be sent, because just complaining about it will not help the animals. We need your 1-minute call a day. So.
Well, that's really, really interesting. And, maybe if we just really emphasize to people that if you do put in that time, there will be a reward for that. It does have an effect.
Yes.
So we will change laws. You'll see laws start to change. I've seen that myself, participating in different actions. Really, just a little public pressure goes such a long way. And we're speaking out. We're taking down the veil. We're exposing corruption, cruelty, inhumanity, all this horrible stuff going on. We want a better world. So everyone, please help. Jody, thank you so much for being on. Say hello to Steve for us and keep us posted. Please come on again. We'll put up all those links. You'll give them to me. You'll email them to me afterwards, and I'll upload them along with this so that everyone can get all the information.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you for being on. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I will see you next time. So please continue to support UnChained TV. Download the app, watch.unchainedtv.com, and remember to watch my show, Action Hour. Catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.